Cartoons and life lessons go hand in hand. Whether that be an unfortunate physics lesson from Wile E. Coyote or a heartfelt one from Finn the Human, there's something about delivering a message through animation that just seems to work. One cartoon that does it well is Steven Universe, whose lessons never feel too heavy-handed because they're just a natural part of the show. Steven Universe is full of gems, pun fully intended, that we should be teaching kids and also practicing as adults. And what better way to educate everyone than by watching a cartoon that appeals to all ages? Hi, my name is Ostrich Vox from the Roundtable with Channel Frederator, and we're gonna check out some wise messages to come out of Beat City and beyond. So get ready for some inspirational music in your head, cause this is 13 lessons from Steven Universe. Number 1, take care of yourself. In the episode, Kiki's Pizza Delivery Service, Kiki has a hard time saying no to her sister Jenny and thus devotes all of her extra time to taking care of her sister. What Jenny doesn't see though, is that all this work is starting to weigh down on Kiki and is giving her nightmares. Steven reminds Kiki, and the viewers, that the most important thing to do is take care of yourself before you take care of others. Saying no is something that kids and adults both struggle with, and it's wonderful that Steven Universe reminds us viewers it's okay to do so. The episode reinforces the importance of knowing your limitations before adding more onto your plate, or in Kiki's case, for adding pizza boxes to your delivery route. Number 2, it's okay to have negative emotions so long as you don't let them get the best of you. In Mindful Education, Connie gets wrapped up in an incident that happened at school where she accidentally hurt someone. The moment plagues her all day, but with the help of some guided meditation, courtesy of Garnet, she is able to let go of the moment and move on. Everyone can get tangled up in anxiety or regrets, and Garnet's song, Here Comes a Thought, reminds us that having bad thoughts isn't necessarily a bad thing. Animated shows often preach that relentless positivity is the best way to live your life, but that isn't entirely true. As long as you can recognize bad thoughts for what they are, it will be easier to process the moment and move on. So the next time life gets you down, just try to remember Garnet's message and take a moment. It will help. Number 3, you can still make something good come out of a bad situation. Greg Universe has a catchphrase that certainly has become a fan favorite over the years. In case you haven't heard it by now, it goes a little something like this. If every pork chop were perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs. And although he may be talking about pork-based food products, Greg is right. Steven often makes mistakes, but he learns from them and grows as a person and gem. Failures can be an excellent tool for improvement and future success, as long as you can look at them with an ounce of optimism, like turning an imperfect pork chop into a deliciously tasty hot dog. Unless, of course, your van and home starts floating away in the ocean, then the quote doesn't apply. Number 4, you choose your own future. When Steven learns of Garnet's ability to see the future, he quickly becomes cautious of all the possible dangers around him, and is eventually paralyzed with fear. If you spend all the time concerned about what's going to happen, you make the situation look worse. Like standing on a roof in the middle of a lightning storm worse. We're looking at you, Steven. You can't be afraid of the future, and sometimes taking a risk is the best thing you can do for your future. In the episode Future Vision, Garnet realizes that if she tells Steven about her future vision, there's a chance Steven's anxieties will consume him. But she tells him anyway because there's also a chance it would bring the two of them closer. As Garnet reminds us, millions of possibilities for the future, but it's up to you to choose which becomes reality. Whoa, deep. Number 5, your past does not define you. Just look at Amethyst and Pearl. In Amethyst's case, she's the runt of homegrown mighty quartz warriors who were used in the war to fight. While Amethyst harbors a lot of insecurities about the role she played in being born there, she doesn't let it stop her from being a member of the Crystal Gems and fighting for what she believes in. In Pearl's case, pearls on Homeworld are created to serve high-ranking gems, usually diamonds, and Jasper often calls Steven's pearls defective for breaking the mold of Homeworld. She taught herself how to fight and refused to let her origins dictate her life. The past may develop us into who we are, but you can't let it limit you and prevent future progress. Number 6, love is love. Come on, you knew this one was coming. If there's one thing Steven Universe nails, it's the message that love comes in different shapes and sizes, and there's nothing wrong with that. Whether it's Ruby and Sapphire's relationship, Pearl and Rose's relationship, or Greg and Rose's interspecies relationship, the show is full of all types of love. In the episode The Answer, Ruby and Sapphire are left stranded on Earth, and as they spend time together, they eventually fall in love and fuse together to become Garnet. That's about it. There's no big coming out scene, there's no discussion of whether it was right or wrong, it just happens naturally, which is a fantastic way to treat these relationships, just like any other. Love. Number 7, looks can be deceiving. Whether he's training centipede monsters or ignoring the Crystal Gem's advice on sketchy looking mirrors, Steven knows better than anybody to not judge a book by its cover. In Monster Buddies, Steven learns that the monstrous looking centipedal is actually quite calm and friendly, and the centipedal even saves Steven at one point in the episode. The same goes for Lapis Lazuli, who Steven saves from a mirror and later returns the favor by saving the crew from Jasper. Number 8, roll with the punches. Change is constant, so it's important to learn how to accept the changes that come your way play, and life. This one is a bit more subtle, but we can see it highlighted in Peridot's journey. After being stranded on Earth with Steven and Crystal Gems, Peridot must learn to accept the change in her life away from Homeworld. At first, she has a hard time with it, constantly installing the Crystal Gems and calling them quads. But over time, she learns that they're not so different from her. Once she accepts her new circumstances, her relationship with the gems changes, and she becomes friends with them and a valuable member of the team. She also realizes that Earth is beautiful and worth protecting, which allows her to understand why the Crystal Gems even bothered to save the planet in the first place. So there you have it. Change isn't always bad, and you may even find that you like your new situation better than your previous one. Number 9. Being different is okay. This one both applies to Steven and Garnet. In Steven's case, he doesn't fully fit in anywhere. He's half human and half gem, and is therefore constantly being pulled between the gem world and the human world. While he can fully never be one or the other, throughout the course of the show, Steven leverages his hybrid nature to relate to both worlds at the same time. As Hannah Montana once said, he's got the best of both worlds. Sorry. As far as Garnet goes, it's pretty obvious. Fusion between different gems is taboo back on Homeworld, and because of this, Garnet is often criticized by other gems for fusing. It wasn't until she got some top-notch advice about loving herself from Rose Quartz that Garnet learned to fully embrace herself and understand that it's okay to be different. Number 10. Confidence is key. Steven's always doing something fun around Beach City, whether it's performing in talent shows or posing as a fortune-telling robot. He is confident and unafraid to be himself, and so many people in Beach City love that quality in him. In Lars and the Cool Kids, Steven acts like himself and is liked by the cool kids, while Lars has a hard time connecting because he's insecure of himself and tries to act how he thinks the cool kids want him to. It's also worth mentioning, as seen in the house guest, that Steven's healing powers don't work when he loses his self-confidence. So believe in yourself, and maybe your spit will become magical too, or at least you'll be happier, which is also pretty magical. Number 11. You don't have to do everything on your own. Due to the circumstances of Steven's birth, Greg was left to raise Steven alone. It wasn't until he ran into issues involving Steven's gem side, which he calls magical stuff, that he realized he wasn't cut out to do it solo, and asked the gems for help. Greg is there when Steven needs some human guidance, but Greg also knows that Steven is only half human, and that he can't teach him about his gem half. The gems are great mentors when it comes to teaching Steven about his powers, and to protecting him, but they don't know the first thing about being human. Greg and the Crystal Gems know when to pass the baton to the other side for help in raising Steven, which is the best thing they can do for him and themselves. Number 12. Don't let others tell you how to feel. In Tiger Millionaire, Steven gets depressed after Mr. Smiley calls him the cruelest creature on the planet, and some members of Beach City agree. He's down in the dumps all day until Amethyst gives him some pretty amazing advice. She tells Steven that only he should control his emotions. Pretty much everyone knows how it feels to get caught up in something someone else said about them. But as Amethyst so brilliantly says, those are just words people use to describe how they feel about you. Someone else's feelings about you don't have to be how you feel about yourself. Music to my soul. Number 13. Acceptance. Acceptance is somehow the most obvious and the most subtle lesson weaved in throughout the show, and that's probably because Rebecca Sugar and the Crewniverse are masters at writing. The show has been normalizing things for you, and you didn't even realize it, because it's just that good. Whether it's the Crystal Gems non-nuclear family, Steven accepting his own place in the universe as a half-gem, half-boy, or Stevani's non-binary gender, all these things are accepted as normal, and that's just within Steven's personal bubble. Outside of his home, nearly every body type imaginable is represented in Beach City, and on top of that, the residents of the town also represent a mass degree of cultural diversity, which is fantastic. Beach City is a home to people from all walks of life, and everyone accepts each other. It is so subtle yet so seriously beautiful, and something we should all aspire to have more of in this world. One last bonus mini life lesson: cookie cats are super duper yummy, but remember to always eat the ears first. Once again, I'm Ostrich Fox from the Roundtable, and if you want more Steven Universe goodness, check out my channel. Thanks for watching 13 life lessons from Steven Universe. Which one do you think is most important? What lessons did we miss? Comment below and let us know. If you like this, be sure to check out our 107 facts about Steven Universe or any other of our life lesson videos.